Well, hello there. I'm so excited to have my friend Liz Strom here today on our Pursue the Spark podcast and finding out about her life and her experiences and what she does to move forward in her life. So let me introduce to you, and I have to read this because it is a very impressive resume. Liz Strom is an author, life coach, a double organ transplant survivor, a speaker, a mom, a mentor, and she empowers you to go from stuck and stressed to free and able. That just sounds right down my alley. She's also a published and almost published author, she said. So welcome to the show, Liz. I'm so pumped that you're here, and here's the floor. Tell us about yourself.
I'm so excited to be here with you too, Heike. Thank you so much for that beautiful intro. If I had to do an intro for you, I'd likewise have to read, because there's so much that you do in this world that I love with different people on different levels from when I first met you to now going forward. So thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. And yes, that's what I do. I take people from stuck and stressed to free and able. A lot of it has to do with envisioning and planning and organizing and reorganizing life. And there's a lot that's happened in my own life that I decided I really need to help other people get there.
Yeah, you told me, you shared with me that you're the creator of Envision and a forthcoming book called Led by the Unseen. Now, how do they tie in with your company or your work at that point?
Absolutely. Led by the Unseen is a book that I'm currently writing, and it is almost done. And the reason why I haven't sought out publishers to move this forward is because I feel like there's a big part of the story that needs to be added in. I'm not quite sure what that is, but it's supposed to tie everything together and create a bigger impact from what it already has. So I'm so excited about that. The various chapters in that book talk about different things in life that help lead you forward that you can't necessarily see. And it could be something motivational, something spiritual, people that move you forward maybe that you have never met, people that move you forward that come in passing, as well as friends, teachers, leaders, coaches, whatever it is that you have in your life. And so the different ways in which you receive guidance and motivation is explained throughout the book using my life. So that's Led by the Unseen. Envision is actually a program I use within my coaching, and Creative Calm Solutions LLC is my company.
Thank you.
And the vision part of it is to put people in Envision, in their vision, and it helps them to see what's possible in their life. And we do a lot of visualization, and we take people to where they think their future should be. And we sit in the moment and we talk about what it looks like, what it feels like, what it smells like, who they're with, all the different aspects. And then we decide, is it really what you wanted in life? Is this really what you're envisioning? Is this really what feels right to you? And if it's not, we tweak the vision a little bit so it becomes more perfect, if you will. There's no such thing as really perfect, but perfect for them in the moment. And then we work towards it. We create a plan so that they can have a feel better life along the way.
Do you mostly work with women or men or both?
I work with both. But most of my women, most of my clients, like I said, are women in their mid-30s and above. But I do have a lot of clients of all age ranges, from 17 to 82. A lot of people just feeling like they're feeling stuck and stressed, or they're not sure what their next steps are going to be. So, for example, my 17-year-olds don't really know what they want to do in college or what field of studies to pick up, and I'll help them with that. Or sometimes they just want to travel and they're trying to decide which path to take, all the way to my beautiful 82-year-old clients who are trying to figure out what their next steps in life are after they've been through an entire career, maybe not a career, but staying home with their children and their grandchildren and feeling like there's something else they should be doing in life. And so we kind of create sessions around that, figuring out their next steps and what makes them feel better and what they should be doing. So typically mid-30s and above, but all across the board. I also speak at corporate events, and I facilitate workshops for men and women within those companies to do some stress management kind of work. So it's all over the place, but mainly women in their mid-30s and above.
Yeah. So what did you do before you became the creator of Creative Calm Solutions?
Oh, what didn't I do? Okay. I did a lot. I found myself in a lot of support roles. I was executive assistant to different presidents of different companies, people who own their own businesses, which was fantastic for me because I got to learn the ropes kind of the hard way, figure out what works and what doesn't for them. And I realized, what I wanted to do, what I didn't want to do, watching their processes. I was also a senior sales manager for Hilton. So I was able to go and
Wow.
travel and meet different people from all over the place, nationally, not internationally with Hilton. But I love people. So getting to know people of all different backgrounds and upbringings really opened up a lot of things in my mind for me. And I'm able to reconnect with those people now, which is exciting. So a lot of it was being kind of the right hand to somebody else, as well as being in operations and management and sales. Didn't love the sales part, loved the marketing part, and figuring out what I wanted to do with my own life in that process.
Which brings me to how we met, because she was also the operations instigator of the DC Salsa meetup. And
Yes.
what many years back, when Liz and Mario and Kathy started the salsa meetup group, and I joined the group with such amazing fun people dancing salsa all over the DC metro area. Are you still doing that?
I still am. I love it. I love to see people doing what moves them. And of course, salsa is actual movement, and it's not only great for your health and aerobic exercise, but you just see people smiling all over the place, learning something new, stepping out of their comfort zone. And there's such a mix of people on the dance floor that it just makes me so happy to see everyone to that capacity. But my role in the DC Salsa meetup was to be the happy face at the door a lot of the times, besides the back end work of accepting members and sending out messages and coordinating events, which was fun. I love doing that. I got to be in the front hall, and anytime someone came in, I was the warm, happy face at the front of the door, saying hello, greeting them so they felt comfortable right off the bat, and to move forward onto the dance floor to do whatever they came there for, whether it's lessons or dancing, meeting other people. I would connect other people. And a lot of the time I just met some great people like you at these meetups, and I really kept in touch. I really wanted to tie everyone together, whether it was at my house, at events, potlucks, dinners, birthday celebrations, whatever it was, to now we're coming together in this capacity. It's so amazing. I love people. I love meeting new people.
And that's, and that is just so fantastic, because I remember the days when I was still very active in salsa, which I've now moved into Argentine tango, but I'm still friends with the core group from maybe 10, 12 years ago, like you. And then we meet again in renewed capacities in business or other forms in our life. I just love it too.
Yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
during our time together, you met this hot guy named Rolo. And we all were super excited that you met somebody so special. So tell us about your lovely husband. And you mentioned you have a daughter.
Yes, I do. So my daughter, right now, this day, she's 17. She's turning 18 this year. I can't believe it. And she's an amazing creative soul. And right now she's in high school. So it's nice and quiet in the house. So I can have a nice office meeting with you today. And she's, like I said, she's an amazing soul. My husband, Rolo, his real name is Rolando, but people call him Rolo. Otherwise, people would call him Orlando and all sorts of fun names. He is an amazing soul, all on his own, and he's also into empowerment and motivation, and he supports me along my journey, but has his own things going on, which I love. So we both keep busy in positive ways, and we join together, and we kind of create this different force. He has a very different way of going out about life than I do. But it's kind of streamlined. So he brings something else to the table that I'm not used to, and I love seeing, and he's just such an open, loving soul. The funny thing is I actually met him through a friend from DC Salsa Meetup named Leisha. And she used to be one of the organizers also, so a happy face at the door. Right. She moved to San Francisco for the next phase in her life. She made friends there, and I went out to surprise her one year for her birthday, and there Rolo was, just sitting there talking to me. We were friends before anything else began, and then it moved quickly after that. Amazing soul. I am married to him and plan to stay that way.
Yep. Because I remember when we first met him, everybody was, what? How did you find this guy? Oh my God, they're perfect together.
Yeah. Admittedly, I was resistant to dating for a long time, especially in the salsa scene, because I was an organizer, someone who was just busy greeting, and I kind of didn't want to get tied up in perhaps dating somebody and maybe it wouldn't work out, and I didn't want to be that one that they were not wanting to see at events or whatever it was. So I really held back for a long time with that dating part of my life. And then when I met him, it was just all walls came down. There was nothing to be worried about. He just made me feel at ease immediately. And he said I did the same for him. So it was a great pairing of two whole people coming together, creating something else.
Yeah, and I think that came at the right time because, as I shared earlier, you're a double organ transplant survivor and you're dealing with quite a bit of health challenges
Yeah.
throughout the last years. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's part of my journey and part of why I became a life coach and decided to be the happy face at the front door, for example, and making people feel comfortable. I have struggled with health issues all my life. I had type 2 diabetes since I was a child. So most of my growing up was a lot of restrictions, no eating this, no eating that, having to take blood tests 4 times a day at certain times and insulin injections at certain times, from having low blood sugar reactions to having really high blood sugars, not understanding why, as well as understanding why. I was a kid, so I would just eat whatever I wanted to because, to having a lot of challenges later in life, not so much that I was out of control, but because diabetes is a small blood vessel disease that damages things along the way after so many years of having it. So when I met Rolando, he was saying he wanted to date. I was holding back in that aspect because I knew I was getting quote unquote sicker and sicker. And he told me, I'm with you because you're you, not because you're sick or you're healthy. So I really trusted him from that point on. And he was with me the day that I found out my kidney was dying.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, it was a really tough time, but I also, I had been through so much in life and I knew I could get through that. I wasn't sure what it was going to look like. So I went through the process with Rolando, and thankfully, I was put at the top of the list in my area for organ recipient. And I received a brand new, quote unquote, kidney and pancreas almost about 5 years ago. And here I am today. I have no diabetes and I am alive, no dialysis, no problems with my kidneys right now. All my levels are wonderful. And going through that process, I knew I had to do something bigger.
Yeah.
I couldn't just get away with having these new organs and not do something with my life, with the vision that I had in helping other people since I was a small child. I always wanted to be the one that was known for helping others and developing plans. And my friends come to me for that. I thought, I need to do this. So I needed to train and get there to do what I needed to do. And that's what I'm doing now. I train under Tony Robbins and Chloe Madanis, Mark and Magali Pesha, as well as Marie Forleo, Danielle Laporte, so many other beautiful leaders. And they have opened my eyes to what's possible in that aspect of coaching. So here I am. I opened my own coaching business. I help people with their careers, relationships, stress management, feeling better with whatever's going on currently, if they have health conditions or limitations, if you will. And that's where my health has taken me. So through all that I've been through, I'm trying to lead other people through it also.
What is your biggest limitations at the moment physically?
Physically, I have very low blood pressure. So the world can spin around me at this moment. So I don't go dancing for that reason, or I dance to really slow sort of things that make my soul light up with my husband. I still do it a little bit. So in that capacity, I still have to move and stay healthy, especially because I have this second chance with the new organs. So I do things like 5 rhythms dancing, which helps connect you with your body to figure out what you're feeling and releasing of emotions and also taking on the better, bigger ones. I do chair yoga, I do floor yoga, all sorts of things. Or sometimes I do regular yoga holding onto a chair and doing the best that I can.
And I think that's so commendable because you have such a challenge with all the kidney and the pancreas and the dizziness and the sight and all of this, that you just are not beaten down and give up. I am so crazy proud of you. I was like, my heart just saying to see you thrive despite all the crap that you have to go through.
Yeah. But we go through things and nobody I know has had an easy life. And I thought, well, I know people who've gone through way worse. For example, I've had periods of anemia where I have to go to the hospital and I have to sit in an infusion clinic and get some iron. And of course, I was complaining at 6:45 in the morning, going to the hospital, sitting there for 20 minutes to get infusions. And when I got there, I'm sitting with children that have leukemia, other sort of cancers, sitting there for their entire day and smiling. And I said to myself, you better stop complaining, do something, make them feel better. They're going through way worse things than you are. So there's always somebody going through something different, bigger, whatever it is. Maybe it's a parallel. And you have to make sure you make it through. And if you've made it through, do something bigger with your life. And that's what I decided to take on and do.
Because you're also involved with some charity or some organizations that you support. Tell us more about it.
Absolutely. So UNOS, the United Organ Network of Organ Sharing, the National Kidney Foundation, and the American Diabetes Association, I don't know where I'd be if they hadn't published all the information they had online and done all of these sort of charity fundraisers to be able to fund research and events for people going through things like I do. So I thought I really need to give back to those organizations who can make a greater impact nationally, internationally. So I decided that through my coaching and my workshops, I give a percentage back to these different organizations. Sometimes it's directly to a patient group. Sometimes it's giving of materials that I have or any kind of services I have to offer. And a lot of the times it's the small bit of monetary give back that I can give. So I support organizations across the board. Those are the three that I mainly associate with and try to give back for. This year, I'm doing something called the Goddess Workshop. Again, it's an annual event, and we are funding clean water efforts, if you will. So we wouldn't all not be here if we wouldn't stay hydrated and had clean water to drink. So this year we decided to start there. I wouldn't be able to for sure, because with kidney disease, you need to constantly drink water, stay hydrated, keep everything healthy. So I went to the cellular level at all and said, okay, what can I do on that aspect? Help other people and other children and all around the world get cleaner water access. So this year's workshop is dedicated to that.
So I'll put the notes into links into the notes for the listeners so they can contact you or find out more about clean water, the clean water movement.
Thank you.
That's so amazing.
Thank
Now,
you.
speaking of clean water, what do you eat, Liz? How do you nourish your body? You mean, how careful do you have to be?
Absolutely. The great thing about having no more diabetes is I can eat whatever I want. And that's including fruits any time of the day that I wanted, because as a child, you couldn't do that. Fruits have natural sugar in it called fructose, and that raises blood sugar. So I couldn't do that. Now I can. Same thing with milk. If I wanted to put milk in my coffee, I can. Milk has lactose, a long-acting sugar, so I can do whatever I want. With kidney disease, for me personally, there are no restrictions. I'm a vegetarian. And the funny thing is I eat, lots and lots of vegetables, and I also eat seafood, milk, and cheese. Not strict vegetarian, but I do not eat any meat. And when I first had surgery, the surgeons told me, okay, you have to watch potassium. Don't eat high potassium foods. Of course, that took away everything I was normally used to eating: spinach, asparagus, tomatoes, all these things. But I am able to now. Everything is evened out. So I eat whatever I want, but I'm mainly a vegetarian. I eat lots of fruits and vegetables throughout the day, as well as baked goods. I don't restrict myself because that would feel just like I did when I was a child, very restricted, but in small amounts all day long.
Now, I have to say something to this because I follow Liz also on Instagram. So you guys have to follow Liz on Instagram because you know then what she really eats.
Yes.
She goes out and eats the most fabulous foods and they look delicious. And you think, can she eat all this? And I tell you, what we heard now is, yes, you can. But I'm always amazed of your pictures of where you go and you're in some fancy hotel and you're eating these crazy, delicious looking things. And you're like, yes, that's just what I had. I just love it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to infuse your life with things that feel good, experiences that make you feel open and amazing. So literally, I would go on Instagram and put fun places to eat NYC as a hashtag and find all the different pictures. I would find somewhere and say, that's where I want to go, screenshot it, create a date out of it, and seek it out. This past weekend, for example, I found this beautiful little tiny shop in Chinatown called Sweet Moment, NYC, and they have the coolest cream art on top of your coffee or tea that has little happy faces on it. Who couldn't smile for something like that? So I really fill my life with that. And I also teach my clients to do the same thing. You have to make it happen, plug it into your calendar, create these sort of trips. You don't want to have regrets later, and this is the way to do it. Live passionately, seek out these things. And for me, it's traveling, finding these fun little foods on Instagram, or maybe it's a whole meal of these fabulous hotels that I stay in every once in a while with my husband and daughter. So they're also enjoying, and they're going to live in no regrets, or as few, I should say, regrets as possible. This is the fun I have in life. And yes, no restrictions. I can't admit to eating the whole thing of pasta that you see. Sometimes I portion it out, but
I just remember the little piglets that you posted this week on Instagram. Guys, you have to see that. The little piglets, the little dumplings. Oh my God, it just makes you want to jump in and eat it.
Yes, we went to a dim sum place in New York and we were so excited ordering these little dishes, kind of like Chinese tapas, if you will. And when they brought out the egg custard carts, there were these little piggies about this big, and you just couldn't help but smile. And of course, take a picture and share with the world. So if anybody's en route, they can see what I had and they can enjoy it too.
No, that's so fun. That was my next question. What ignites your fire? What sparks your day? What recharges you? Share that with us.
Absolutely.
The piglet is one of them.
Yes, food is one of them. Travel is another. People, I love people. I'm an extrovert primarily with a lot of introverted tendencies. So I like to do a lot of introspection and things, but I love people. I love sunshine. I love food. I love travel. And I infuse this into my life on a daily basis. I can tell you the first thing I think about is the cup of coffee I'm going to make, because that lights me up. And having little things plugged in through my day, having conversations with people like you that are amazing, that light me up. YouTube. I love YouTube. So I'll go on there and find different people who are inspiring, listen to their stories, and it lights me up to do something more. Water. Can't live without water. So drink lots of it to keep healthy. Movement, music. I love dancing in my own way now. So I'll turn up the music and dance in between, even if it's a chore, cleaning. That's how I fuel that. So it can
you should come to my house, dance a little bit around my house.
Well, I make my husband and my daughter dance with me too. So I can't take all the credit for that, but I add it in. I just infuse it with my daily life. And from the small things, from my coffee in the morning to great things like going to conferences for people who move me and taking that and using it with my clients. So many things in between.
I know that we both share a love for traveling, because I always check where Liz has been. And then I see with the pictures she had and how she got there, because you just recently went to Milan. Yes. And I said, wow, you went to Milan just out of the blue. And she says, this lights me up. This recharges me, traveling, seeing new things, eating different foods. And along the side, you have some gorgeous pictures that are taken of you. So, hey.
Yes, absolutely. We went to Milan, and this was on a whim. We found a great deal. So I just went with my BFF and we traveled, and we created some plans around it, and other things we just did on a whim to people watch and see what cafes are available to eat delicious things. And a lot of people think of Milan, Italy's experience to be buying expensive things, buying expensive leather bags. And for me, to be honest, I'm not big on design or anything. It's nice to wear. I have a few things, but I'm not big on that. So my Milan experience was, let's hire a photographer, take pictures of the big, beautiful Duomo in the background, and remember the cathedral that we visited, and we climbed the steps all the way to the top. Wow. And we stood at the top and looked over the entire city. Let's find somebody who can take great pictures of us doing that, so we'll remember those times forever, these experiences. And we took a day trip to Switzerland, and we went up the Alps in a little red train. So we really plugged it in there and created a time of our lives, really just doing what we wanted to do.
I love it.
And, connecting with people along the way.
Because you just spark me up. When I look at your Instagram and your Facebook, you always make me smile. You make me think with the thoughtful posts that you post and spark my imagination. And that's why I'm so happy that we are in touch, that we're friends, that I can get some of your energy and pass some of my energy on to you. It's so important to be around people like this, because we hear a lot how negative people are, how stressed they are, how many problems they have. But to stay on top of that and overcome this negativity, this stress, the unhappiness is a hurdle for us too. We're not just always like, yoo-hoo, happy people. we have our ups and downs, and I'm sure for you, you have big downs with your implants. I almost said with well, sort of implants.
Well, I don't have implants.
They're like, yeah, organs.
Actually, I do. I lie. I do have implants in my eyes.
You do?
Yeah. So I am.
Oh, you guys know a secret now. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay.
So people can see. Actually, you cannot see the implants in my eyes, but I'm blind out of this eye now. And that happened after many, many surgeries in my right eye. And my eye tried to fix itself, the beautiful, wondrous body. So it grew all these extra blood vessels over my macula. So now I cannot see out of here. It's called ischemia. My left eye, it started to happen peripherally. And also I started having very dry eyes from all the surgery. So I had a doctor who inserted punctal plugs so that the tears would stay in my eyes to stay moisturized. So I do have implants in there, size 7.
Now, this is a cool little tidbit that nobody would have ever guessed, Liz.
Yeah, I don't think anybody knows that. So here it is. Thank you for letting me open that with.
Okay, world, here it is. She does have implants.
I do. Beautiful size 7 implants.
Well, thanks for sharing that with us. This is that's something very private. I'm like, not everybody tells things like that. So tell us, what is your plan for the future? What do you see yourself going with your company, and where do you go from here?
So you have to start with the small tidbits, if you will. So right now I'm trying to finish everything I can with Tony Robbins and Chloe Madanis, which is a long, beautiful program, but they make sure you do the work and you move forward. So I'm doing a lot of that and all of my coaching and all of my speaking engagements. And I knew right after all of these training sessions ended with Tony Robbins, I had to do something else to move me. So I'm going to do yoga challenges, and I'm going to go to more events and things that move me. Next year, I already have 3 events, main big events that I really want to attend and go to. So I decided to plug that into my calendar already. Tickets are not available, but I know what day those open and I can plan that. And then in my business, through all the experiences that I've had under my belt, as well as what I'll learn going forward, I know I can make that explode. So right now, I know I'll be speaking to more companies, helping their employees to manage their stress. I can't really tell them to reduce it, but I can help them manage that to create more of a work-life balance. And I know that I'll be traveling more doing that. There's many, many, many companies in the Washington, D.C. area, but I know that I have to not limit myself there. So I envision myself traveling more, doing these workshops, meeting new people, also volunteering my time, because I don't only want to give back being paid, if you will. I also want to be there for people. For example, with those cancer patients in the infusion area, I want to be able to sit with them, play games, make them feel better, whatever they have the energy to do, and volunteer in that aspect and just sit and be with friends and family. So I have these bigger plans, and then I have these smaller chunks of plans that I've plugged into my calendar. So there's a lot there.
Yeah. What would you say as a takeaway for our listeners, for all the active ladies who pursue their spark? What tidbit, what advice would you give them in closing, saying, ladies, you just
have to live passionately? That is one thing that strikes me today. I think every day I feel a little bit of this, you have to live passionately part. And it can feel a little cliche because people don't know what to do with this live passionately thing in their lives. They want to, but they don't know how to do it. Plug it in. Find things that move you. Find events that move you. For example, this year, find 3 and say, I'd really like to go to, I don't know, Beyonce concert, the diva. She's somebody who inspires me in a lot of different moods that I have. Find that. If it's some sort of health conference, go to that. Whatever it is, plug that in your calendar. Find out when tickets come out, go. And that will be the starting part on your journey, because along the way, you'll find things that light you up and you'll meet people that move you, and you'll go on Instagram and find those little foods. And that's the way you live passionately, plugging these things in that you want to do with the people you want to do it with. Don't leave it to chance, because you'll say, yeah, I want to go to the Beyonce concert and probably with my best friend. Back to work, and they don't plug it in, and it never happens.
Very
so
true.
Live passionately, plug it in, and along the way, all these beautiful things will just kind of erupt, and your heart will keep exploding in this amounts, and life will feel a lot better to you. So plug it in, live passionately.
So now, how can people live passionately reach you? How can
Absolutely. I'm all over social media. I love people, as I told you, and I love connecting with people even online. So my website is lizstrom.com. My Instagram page is at Liz Strom Official. Same thing with my Facebook page at Liz Strom Official. They can email me if there's someone who don't like to be on the phone or meet face-to-face as we are. They can reach me at liz@lizstrom.com. That's also my website. And if you go to my website, all these things are listed, so you don't have to memorize it. But lizstrom.com is where I am mostly.
And we'll, of course, post them all in the show notes. So people, if they listen to it, they don't have to get a piece of paper out. So they will be there in the show notes. And they will be on iTunes, and it will live on my website and, of course, yours.
Yes.
And I am so excited we made this happen after all this time. It just popped in my head that I really wanted to share you with my audience.
Thank you so much. I am so very grateful for you, for all you do in the world, for all that are listening and want to do something more with your life. Plug it in, make it happen, and it will.
I love that.
Thank you.
I'm going to steal that.
Yes, please do. The more the better. We need to share this. Everyone needs to do it. Yes.
Yes. Thanks. And I'll see everybody else on the next Pursue Your Spark. And thank you, Liz, again.
Yes, thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Hold on. I need my glasses because I don't know what the stop button is.
I love it.